With this one, I recommend following along on your book picture because it makes more sense. On page 421, it has the nephron. So this is a structural unit of the kidney. So this is actually what makes the urine. And the nephron is important. It basically is in charge of reabsorbing water and nutrients from the blood and from the urine that your body needs. So the nephron is what decides, okay, I'm going to keep the stuff the body needs and it's going to get rid of the stuff the body doesn't need. So that's kind of its main overall function. And these are found in the renal cortex and the renal medulla. So those outer two layers of the kidney are made up of a bunch of these. So these are really small units that you can't really see with the naked eye, but there's thousands of them in a single kidney. So the structures that you guys need to know, the first one is the afferent arteriole. An arteriole is a little blood vessel, and the afferent arteriole is going to be the one right here that goes into this round structure. So afferent is going into this structure. This structure here, the round kind of circular structure, is the glomerulus. So all this stuff inside of it is the glomerulus. This is where filtration starts. So it has what's called filtrate in it, and this is where the filtration for the making of the urine is going to start. Is in your glomerulus. So you have the afferent arteriole that goes into the glomerulus, and then the next thing on your list is the efferent with an E arteriole, and this is the one coming out of the glomerulus. So the one here coming out on the top is the afferent. Efferent. Okay, no backwards. Efferent is on the top, afferent's on the bottom. Sorry, I've been confusing. Okay, then you have the paratubular capillaries. That's the next thing on your list. These are all these capillaries down here. So the ones kind of toward the bottom that are wrapped around this tube, these are the paratubular capillaries. This tube is primarily responsible for water reabsorption. So a lot of water is going to be diffusing back into the blood or out of the blood, depending on what the body needs to do at the time, from these capillaries. So these are the ones that are primarily taking up or giving out water. The Bowman's capsule is the outer portion of the glomerulus. So that's the next thing on your list. So the actual surrounding portion is the Bowman's capsule. It's the capsule that surrounds the glomerulus. The proximal convoluted tubule is the next thing. Convoluted just means complicated and twisted up. So you'll see that all this stuff up here is looking fairly convoluted. The proximal convoluted tubule is the part that comes out of the glomerulus, and it's this first segment right here. So basically this top part that comes out of the glomerulus, and it kind of wraps and crosses over itself. This is the proximal convoluted tubule. This is responsible primarily for reabsorption of sugars, salts, and amino acids. So a lot of the molecules that are important for the body, that the body wants to keep, and wants to keep its food and its proteins and whatnot, so it can function properly. So they're going to be reabsorbed into the blood in the proximal convoluted tubule. So that's this part of here. The loop of Henle is the next portion. That's this U-shaped loop right here. So this is the loop of Henle. It's the part that's surrounded by the paratubular capillaries. So again, this is where a lot of water reabsorption is going to happen, or water is going to be taken in or put back, taken out or put back into the blood from the loop of Henle down here. The distal convoluted tubule is after the loop of Henle, which actually comes. So you have your proximal convoluted tubule. It runs around this way, and then it forms the loop of Henle. So this is actually where your loop of Henle starts, and it goes this way. And then after the loop of Henle is your distal convoluted tubule. So basically where the loop of Henle ends and it comes back up toward the top is your distal convoluted tubule. So distal means away from, so it's going to be the end of the process. It's going to be carrying the urine away from the glomerulus and away from everything where it started. So distal is this portion. It kind of goes straight across. It cuts over the proximal part. So that's the part that's a little confusing. So make sure you get a good look at this if you're not with part switch. And then the collecting duct. This is the collecting duct. This straight tube over here on the side. This is where the urine is collected once it's created and once all the nutrients are removed and the water is added and all that good stuff. So the collecting duct, you'll notice, has several branches coming off. Each collecting duct receives urine from several different nephrons, so each nephron doesn't have its own collecting duct. several of them come together in one collecting duct, and this empties into the renal pelvis of the kidney. So this is where the urine is going to go and be stored until it goes through the ureters. So this is kind of like the last stage. This has a little bit of water reabsorption as well, but it pretty much is just taking the urine to be taken to the bladder. So that's the collecting duct. Okay. So that's, no, it's kind of a lot of stuff, but there's a few of these you guys can take a look at and sort through. And if you have questions about it, I can come back through it with people. But that is the nephron. Okay. All right, so while we're here, we'll do the human torso model. You guys are probably familiar with a lot of these already, but some of them are kind of weird. They kind of look different than you would expect. So I'll just go through him. It's on page 23 of your packet, so if you want to kind of go through. I'm probably just going to jump around because you have to take them apart, and it's easier to just go through the layer that you're on. So somebody kind of follow along the list to make sure I don't skip anything. So these are the lungs. Pretty straightforward, hopefully. For gas exchange. We have his lungs. We have his heart. The whole part. I'm probably not even going to ask for anything about the heart from this model because we have two models of the heart that's going to be on the test, so there's not really any reason to ask more about the heart than pen. So we'll take his heart out. Up here we have the larynx, which is number 441 and 437. We have to keep writing numbers. That's going to be what houses the vocal cords, just like in the pig. Under the larynx, we have the thyroid right here. This guy doesn't have a thymus on him that you can see, so the gland under the larynx is the thyroid, so you don't have to worry about the thymus on him. The thyroid is 442 and 443. These one right numbers. Under the thyroid, you have the trachea, which is 445 and 446. So that's going to be under the thyroid, just like it is in pig. You have the esophagus over here. That's 261 and 483. I don't know what the numbering scheme is here, but this is the esophagus. It runs right next to the descending aorta, which you don't need to know from this guy, but so it's really deep in the body, and it's going to run down toward the stomach, which is here. You have the liver, which is 502 and 503. So this is the liver. It's the big organ here. On the back of the liver, you have the gallbladder, just like in the pig, it goes under the liver. So it's going to be this little green pouch sac thing. It's number 511 under the liver, so that's the gallbladder. We have the stomach, which is this green structure. Looks like 488, maybe 486, 488 are the numbers on the stomach. And you can see that the stomach, the esophagus comes down and it actually opens up into the stomach. So that's how we know this is the esophagus. This tube right here. Take out the stomach. This kind of spongy looking thing is the pancreas. So it's going to be under the stomach, between the stomach and the intestine, just like it was in your pig. So this is the pancreas right here. It's number 495. Pancreas. In people, your large intestine or your colon actually goes up, over, and down. Remember in your pig how it was all coiled and it was really tight? It's a little bit different in people. We have what's called the ascending, transverse, and descending colon. It's the same structure. It has the same function in people as it does in the pig. It's just kind of spread out a little bit differently. So this portion here would be your colon. And it looks like 526, 527, 524 are all parts of the colon. This is the small intestine, so all of this mass here would be small intestine. Small intestine. You can kind of see the colon a little bit better here. Take it out. So this again was the pancreas. You have the cecum down here, like we had in the pig, so the end, that little blind pouch on the colon is the cecum. And then on a person, the appendix comes off the cecum. So this little green flap, it's number 519. This is the appendix. So it's coming off the cecum. Pigs don't have an appendix, so that's a little bit different between people and pigs. So there's the appendix. Anything else in here that we need? The structure here in the back, behind the stomach, just like it was in the pig. It's located behind the stomach. It looks like it's 614 is the number on the spleen. You have your diaphragm, which is this muscle here. It separates the chest cavity from the abdominal cavity. Same deal as in the pig, so it's this muscle right here. You have your kidneys. So these are 537 is the number on the kidneys, one on each side, and then they come, the ureters are the tubes that come off the kidneys. They're 538 and 539. So these kind of yellowish, light yellow colored tubes coming down are the ureters. The urinary bladder is down here. It's kind of a compressible balloon-like thing. I don't know why they made it like this, but it's number 540. This is the bladder. The parotid gland is something on your list. The parotid gland is up here on the side of the face. It's this white gland-looking thing under the ear. The parotid gland has to do with salivation. It makes saliva. It is involved with digestion in the mouth. So that's one thing that we didn't look at in our pigs, but that's the parotid gland up in the corner. Okay, what did I miss? I was missing something.
You got everything.
I think you got everything.
Okay. So that is the torso man. He will be on the test, just one station with him. So I'll just probably point to a couple structures. And I'll point to two things that are on the same level. So like if I have everything taken out, I'll just point to two things on here, like at this level. I'm not going to have you taking them apart and putting them back together and stuff. So I have to answer